This is Halo 4. We're on Xbox Series X, diving into this fourth main entry in the series that once again follows the Master Chief and Cortana as they deal with some interesting situations and sides get changed up. This sort of really started the modern, I guess you could say, trilogy and or series of games in the Halo series, continuing on from where the trilogy kind of finished off. So yeah, we actually do get a beautiful late generation release. This came at the end of the whole 360 era of gaming, and it actually maybe really should have been a next gen title because it looks absolutely gorgeous. The game is fantastic. So here on the Series X we're getting 4K at 120 FPS with HDR support, and it looks stellar. We're going to show off a bit of the campaign and then the multiplayer. So I also want to mention that aside from having a gripping sort of campaign that felt expansive and epic in scale, this still looks beautiful. There is also Spartan Ops. I don't really feel the need to show that. That's where you kind of take your custom multiplayer character and you're able to, kind of work through these extra narrative points that sort of expand the scope of the story a little bit further, which I think is great. Like, they're nice extra things to play. They're co-op focused, a bit repetitive in tasks, but they were an interesting experience at the time, at least I think so. And I really do like this entry in the series. This one provided a large-scale sort of expansion on the campaign. It took place many years later, and we get to once again see I guess, really for the first time, a deeper look at who the Master Chief is. Is he a tool? Is he a weapon? Is he just a piece of armor? Or is he actually like a person? And you get to see more in-depth and mature looks at him and Cortana as well in regards to their character development and not allowing you to leave this planet, which is always fun. But yeah, it's kind of just increasing the scope and the style of what the series had, and doing a number of interesting things with it in regards to the levels and the design. I mean, this still looks pretty gorgeous. All these years later, it's surprisingly well done. I mean, it's not perfect, but wow, yeah, it really does kind of hold up quite well. Yeah, it's got interesting levels, interesting use of characters. It sort of developed the whole infinity aspect, the big ship that you're dealing with in the series that's kind of stuck around for a long time. And yeah, it's just kind of a great time to play. You can play 4-player co-op if you want, which is kind of great. And then the multiplayer itself too, I thought was really well done. I don't quite understand why folks didn't like it. I thought it was really good. And even all these years later, I think with all the work and the balancing and stuff like that, it's a really good time. But we'll talk about the multiplayer more when we actually get to that portion. The campaign itself really does have some well set up environments and areas of conflict, vehicle segments, and then we've also got a neat villain. So we're facing the Covenant here, but the majority of the game, well, not the majority of the game, but a good chunk of the game has you facing off against this new sort of Forerunner type threat, and they're like these robotic souls and stuff like that. It's an interesting thing that I don't want to dive into too much because, it's kind of spoilerish, and this might be the first time you're looking at playing Halo 4, so you kind of want to come in fresh and understand who they are and stuff like that, which is really quite interesting. So you also get the evolution of certain abilities, and this is kind of a good showcase of the levels. I would have preferred to do, there's one where you're in like a grass area, but I already had it in my primary Chief Collection review, so I didn't want to jump into that again. Oh, there's also an FOV slider, if that's your sort of thing, if you want to have that option there, so you could do that, which is kind of cool. And yeah, it's just a really sort of impressive offering, at least I think so, in terms of the gameplay design, the levels, the flow of it, the visual quality. It's kind of impressive, at least I still think it looks fantastic for, how old this game is. It's kind of amazing that it holds up and visually is so impressive all these years later. I think it's just a testament to, the art team and everything like that. But I think now we're going to switch over to showing off the actual multiplayer component of what this has to offer. Beautiful, beautiful environment though. I mean, just look at that. Yeah, the armor abilities, you can get a bit of that action, seeing us go all invis. Gotta be the stealth chief, if you know what I'm talking about. All about that stealth. So this is the multiplayer, which was definitely quite a change for the series. We moved towards classes and different perks and stuff like that, and different types of armor. The armor was actually impressively expansive in terms of the content that was available to it. But yeah, it's just a really faster, different sort of Halo experience. We once again had Forge for custom maps, which was fantastic. They expanded that quite a bit and offered many new ways to battle. And I did actually really like this. When they tried out a lot of new modes, it felt like a very complete version of Halo, and I genuinely did enjoy it. I think it actually got a lot better too after they updated certain things after the launch, and I just really did have a good time with this, whether I was doing the arena-based combat. And then they had the flood for zombies. That was a little bit weird, but I'll definitely say that. The flood was weird for zombies. And then they had the big team battle, which was really good. I thought they did an excellent job in regards to the map layouts and the design of it. It changed how capture the flag and everything works. They had a lot of really good refinement to the multiplayer experience. Wow, we're having some trouble here. Some new weapons, some additional changes. It just kind of flows very well, at least I think so. I still had a lot of fun with it. I don't really love this map too much, but you know, it kind of gets the job done. And then you get like this mode. I think this was like a DLC mode though, because we're still doing like DLC maps and stuff like that. Extraction. I actually do kind of like this. And then they tried out the Dominion mode, was sort of cool too, which was like a base type thing, you know, where you're setting up structures. I guess that was a bit of a precursor. No wonder we're having trouble with people not even playing, sitting there. It was kind of a precursor to, I guess, Warzone eventually happening in Halo 5, so that's sort of a neat historical thing to consider. So are they going down over that way? Okay. But yeah, multiplayer just offered quite a lot of interesting combat, you know, weapon skins and things like that. It was just kind of well done and interesting, you know, a different sort of design on the Halo series, and did something a little bit unique. I still thoroughly do enjoy it, since I'm battling this guy. Okay, there we go. Slicker medals, more medals. Quite a lot of medals. Not as much as Halo 5's medals. That game goes off way too many because I'm out like candy, but yeah, you get the gist of what I'm saying. Just kind of fast-paced action, and you throw in the different like Forerunner type weapons too. You get some crazy things going on, and also I have a big saw which is nuts for cutting folks down, so hopefully I get to take advantage of that. What's over here? Yeah, I didn't really like how they did the drops for certain things, though, telling you where things were. But I think that's just sort of where we're at in the franchise. I got blast from multiple angles, because it just kind of makes the map control thing a little bit harder, where people that weren't really paying attention can just easily go out and, you know, find where the weapons are and stuff like that. Which, you know, most people might find helpful, but if you're a veteran player, you don't want people to know that kind of stuff. They're just trying to wear me down, even though I got the overshield, but I came up, I guess, on top there. Yeah, it's just kind of really fast-paced, I think, and it looks gorgeous. This whole Halo 4 experience looks absolutely stunning. I want to get that across there, that for a game of like this age, the fact that it's held up this well, and I think even looks better than some modern titles, is just truly, their art team is amazing at that kind of design, the sleek style of it. And I think if they would have kept this maybe as like a, you know, a next-gen option at the time, people might have found it even more impressive. But they slipped it in there late on the 360, and they still got the job done. It was still an impressive game at its time. It's still fun to play for that extra little bit of a gap, and yeah, even today, jumping in here, I have a good time with it. I love the sprinting movement and the design of that, and I can't believe we lost so fast. Our team, not good. Not very good at all. I mean, I did decently, but my team, no. So we're jumping into another match here, and I think this actually might be one of the most gorgeous looking maps in all of Halo. It really is absolutely stellar. Like, in terms of the backdrop and stuff, it looks amazing with the sky detail and everything. It's a stunner. Okay, where is this guy at? Are you on the ground, or are you in the middle? I don't know, I just remember having a lot of fun doing the different objectives, playing this for a long time, working on my character, my Spartan setup and everything, and being pretty good at this. I mean, I thought it was fairly proficient in regards to the gameplay and playing the multiplayer. And Yeah, that's just really, what else can you say about Halo, right? It's just how good the multiplayer expansion is, and well, expansion on the campaign aspect of play. Jeez, I did not mean to pick up the flag. This actually drove me crazy back in the day, was the fact that like auto flag pickup. I'm just not used to it, but it definitely does feel a little bit smoother as I work to get this done. Yeah, it's just been a long venture, because it was nice in the older Halo games to be able to, you know, pull out the rocket launcher and blast them, right? Because that would have been really proficient there and very helpful. But it added a lot of customization, and it really changed things in regards to like how the armor works and the abilities you have available to you. It was a sort of fascinating change, and I know it's not quite what people had expected at the time in regards to, you know, being a traditional sort of Halo game. It evolved the mechanics a lot, but I think if you kind of went along for the ride, you would be mostly impressed by what it would actually achieve technically and what it actually provided gameplay wise. And I think giving the multiplayer a chance is a good idea, because it is quite a lot of fun. I mean, it's super sleek looking. I don't like the idea that the lore is all like it's just a simulation, but I guess that's not like a really big deal, or doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, there's a nice little package here. You had the expanded like content with the Spartan Ops. You had a really great campaign that dove in deep into the characters, a little bit more emotional storytelling, and then you had a really good multiplayer experience that I quite enjoyed. I don't know why folks really didn't like it as much, but I thought it was quite well done. You know, different weapons, integrating those Forerunner weapons well, and having just a large-scale multiplayer where all the proper modes were there, and then you could forage and do some cool things. I think we did like duck hunt and stuff back in the day. It was really fun. And the different zombie play styles, and you know, there's just a lot to this one. I'm actually surprised I didn't finish that guy off there. I really thought I had the kill going on. And I've been just showing off how sort of sleek and well running it is. It just really adds that extra layer of movement. Like, look at that. That's just, oh, it's gorgeous. So gorgeous. I was really happy when this map actually came on the loading. I was like, yes, this is like one of the best looking maps. It looks so nice. It just really showcases the style well. And I mean, you also got to check out the big team battle, because this one really did excel at providing some great BTB action, which again is something I typically spend most of my time playing, so it's kind of somewhat weird to be specifically showing off 4v4, but it's just the arena style of play that I've been playing recently. That's what I've been doing, so it's kind of why. Oh geez, I'm getting absolutely blasted here. I was hoping that maybe doing a ring around would give my team a little bit of time to actually get over there and lend me a hand, but that was not the case. It also made things a little bit harder for objective players, because you gotta, you know, constantly telling you where things are. I think that's actually one issue that I would say overall with it, was how it kind of dumbed down systems of, you know, by letting people know where you were going or know where the certain weapons are, and I kind of talked about that earlier. It just kind of changed how you battle for control of the maps and how the flow works. It was an interesting choice, and I don't know if it's for the best, because it just takes away certain edges that the more, you know, dedicated players sort of really hold and take advantage of, is just knowing the maps better and understanding them. And anyone can just be like, oh, rocket launcher. I think I blew up my teammate there too. Oops, but pretty cool kill across the map, that's for sure. Oh yeah, and I had the DMR. I remember that being the issue that I was kind of mentioning earlier. What they changed just after launch was making sure that the BR was a little bit more powerful than the DMR. I think they got a good balance by the end of things, and especially into this one. Just feels good. Oh, I totally missed that hit so badly. I think you also do, like, you know, there's executions and stuff in this one, which is neat. It seemed to borrow a lot of mechanics at the time, too, instead of really being its own thing. But I think it did take the Halo formula, and it evolved it in ways that were good for the growing of the series. And I don't know, I think it was still a really quite popular game at its time. Certainly had lots of people that I know jumped into it and had a good time. It's the needler. Had a good time playing and moving around, and it just feels so good and looks so cool, like visually. So many great maps as well, which is a shame that not as many people remember them as fondly. 'Cause I remember having some good times on the different levels and doing the flood stuff, and yeah, this was a fun game. I had good memories of this one. The competitive aspect of it and the casual part too. And that Dominion mode, I definitely, again, gotta give props to that, because that was a lot of fun doing the little base battles and stuff. Definitely different and well adjusted for the series, and yeah, it was very neat. And then you kind of see some of the ideas come back and change, and I think that's half the fun of them, is how certain concepts get adjusted over time. I feel bad for the other team, though, where that one guy's not playing, because I think we could have had a really more even sort of match. I like, you know, it's good to win, but I also want to feel like the other team had a fair enough chance to compete, right? I think that's a big part of it. This map is just so sleek looking. Kind of epic. I'm gonna go get my free kill. It's like a coupon for a free kill or something like that. I mean, I'm just kind of tear them apart with the extra ammo and the rocket launcher. That's like a big deal, is like hitting the extra ammo, and people that don't put it on are crazy, quite honestly. Because you get so many extra like bits of ammunition. They actually mattered, the perks and stuff, and you get the unlimited sprint, and I thought that was handled well. There we go, we got each other. Probably should have shot just one more time, because I could finish them off nice and easy, but nah, that's fine. Still, I think I'm doing pretty well this match, I'd say. I don't know. I like to show off some decent multiplayer action when I can, and at least myself performing decently well. Used to how the battles work and stuff. Yeah, I don't like that pistol thing. You get too close, you get just blown away. It's a bit tiring. Oh, that grenade. Yeah, different types of grenades. I actually like that you got to kind of pick what you started with to a degree, I guess. Nice teamwork there. I did not return the favor. My bad. I did not know somebody else was in the vicinity. I guess that's why I gotta pay more attention. Head on the swivel, am I right? Yeah, I really gotta watch those shields. I knew that person was coming up there. I should have paid better attention to that. Huh, it's just goes so well. Beautiful backdrop. Surprised we actually haven't won this yet. Kaboom. I don't know what else is there really to say about this one. The Mantis was fun. That was weird. Although I always thought it was a little bit silly being a guy in a suit of armor getting into a bigger suit of armor. But they're still pretty fun. And a little bit weird. Ow. This was a little far off, wasn't it? I don't know. Jeez, fast-paced action. Yeah, you know, it's been a long time since this came out. I've like aged quite a bit over the years. I just kind of wonder what it'd be like to see this kind of release, like during the Xbox One period. How different things might have been at that point. It's interesting to think about how certain events and stuff could have really changed things a lot in the series, and that especially in regards to like release periods. But I think Halo 4 definitely deserves more credit than it gets for being a great experience that provided a lot of fun and a lot of weird game modes and weird times. So I do remember doing my map rating for this one as well, and they had some like wild level designs. It was absolutely nuts what people were able to build in this one. And 4 just keeps like steadily improving bit by bit every time. I think that's kind of exciting. Just seeing what they're going to do next in regards to like the creative element of it. Totally casually stuck that guy on the left. He's not dead yet? That should have been an easy cleanup for somebody. Like super easy cleanup. There we go. We would have switched weapons. Like, come on. Should have been my rocket launcher. I earned it. Unbelievable. It is a team game, I guess. That's for sure. And I love how this map has taken us the whole way there. I thought we were going to have to get a third match in here, but no, this basically seems to be kind of wrapping it up. It just sort of isn't going. We're like not really pushing to grab the objective for whatever reason. I don't think we're necessarily camping either, but definitely not making as much of a push as we should be doing. That's for sure. Anyways, Halo 4, good game. I definitely suggest playing the story if you've played the other Halo games and you haven't jumped in here yet, or even giving it a revisit, because it looks smooth and gorgeous and beautiful, and like such a, you know, current generational option. I think it looks fantastic. But yeah, Halo 4. Woo! Beautiful. This is a brief look at the 120 FPS option within the game, so that you guys see that. Again, YouTube cannot show 120 FPS. I cannot record at 120 FPS, so hopefully you can see some of the detailed advantage of this higher frame rate, which is incredible.